Good morning. The other day I was playing some Nightreign, and to take a break from the game, I figured I would look up some information about the Libra deals, because, you know, making informed decisions is kind of important in this game. And I conveniently stumbled upon a video by a guy named Rusty, ranking all the deals from worst to best. But not too long into the video, I'm starting to realize that the guy has like no idea what he's talking about. He gets just everything wrong. We're talking basic mechanics like how flasks work, or how Recluse's essence gathering skill works. The guy is basically like the pirate software of Nightreign. Like at some point in the video, he's showcasing the deal to expand your intellect, arguing that is bad because it reduces your FP. The problem is that when he's showcasing that deal, he's actually showing the one to improve your dexterity. It's a physical stat. Of course it reduces your FP, so it's just... The video is just a complete train wreck, and I watched it to get information, but all I really got was a more aggressively receding hairline. I had a lot of fun watching it though, and I hope you do too.
So you put yours out, I'm not putting mine out. How about that?
Watch a video on... Oh, let's watch a video on the deals of Libra. Ranking all 13 Libra deals exchanges from worst to best. Rusty. Sure, let's watch that. I actually want to know this.
No, I just want 2 lasagna bundles. Or, wait. Number 13, fight at full strength. You. Full strength my full balls, bitch. All I get is a pathetic 10% damage boost, and you get to start with your dumbass meditation buff. And 10% more damage negation that just nullifies what you gave me. So where's the buff then? What's 10% more damage gonna do in this situation?
Oh, so
because if my teammates also have to
that doesn't really help, because if you get this as a raid, it's probably good, but...
deal with that damage negation buff, then all I've done is make shit harder for people. Is that supposed to be what you're giving me? A free throw button? If I hate the shit my Guardian because he only used his ult to revive the other player, is this my chance to just tell him to get bent behind the gas station and ass over and who picked it thinking it would do something useful? Number 12, Power of a Demon. This one is just weird as shit. This would be like if the mushroom the pest gave you during a grab attack occasionally your head and filled the vicinity with poison. I can't even tell what this one does either.
What?
Occasionally it fires madness bullets at the boss, but the damage it does compared to the amount of madness buildup it gives you is so lopsided against you that I had to rewind my own footage multiple times just to verify that there was actually some kind of bullet exiting the cat asshole above my head and connecting with the boss. It can also pre-fire at the boss before his hitbox is technically active, while still giving you madness buildup at the very start of the fight. So it's just...
This guy's a most critical kill fan. Yeah, he talks very much like him. But I mean, if you're rating them as Libra deals before the boss fight, sure, I can get the point. But like, if you can get that out in the field, that's really good, right? Like, yeah, I rarely do these deals, but like, what the?
It's like, here you go, have some free status. Go to hell. One of the right.
It's a really, but like, he doesn't understand how the goat eye works. It builds madness on the boss. It doesn't build madness on you, just that. It builds madness on him too, because he's shooting Frenzy Flame shit on him. You can proc the boss weakness with this ability. Like, it's really good. Like, what?
Writers must have really been given some extra compensation to make this one sound as interesting as possible, because this was the first option I ever selected, and the speed at which I made my decision could have been described as blindingly unemployed. This also works against any madness builds you might be leaning on specifically for the purpose of fighting the boss, since it's constantly adding to your buildup and increasing the likelihood of the proc taking you by surprise unless you have a way to deal with it. And I'm not taking that many precautions over a floating asshole that occasionally...
It's pretty hard to proc madness on you, even just pick the stuff on the ground. I've used it twice now, and it's not procced madness on me a single time. It just never happened. On the boss fight versus the dog, and all the way there, it didn't happen. But in the boss fight here, it can be problematic, because if, like, he already does madness to you, so if you add madness on top of what the eye already does, yeah, it can be bad. But then again, there's things on the floor, like, pick it up. But yeah, like, this guy... They're being evaluated as like something you can only pick before the boss itself, and that, yeah, sure, the first one did kind of make sense, but if you find it out in the field, like as a raid, 10% damage is really good, but they might ask for something different in return for it then in that case, and I don't know what that's gonna be. So that's really where my problems start and end with that first thing. But with the madness side, it's really good. If you have one other way to build madness on this boss, you can very easily proc the stun or stagger from him getting madness, and that's pretty good.
Deals a basic R1's worth of damage. Number 11, hold death at bay. If you're on a solo run, this is one of the only options presented to players that is provably worse, as in with evidence, than an item you can just buy from the final merchant. Do you like not getting scammed out of 20% of your max HP? Throw down 10,000 of those runes you weren't going to use anyways on that Winding Grace and just have an actual revive on standby, instead of a slightly shittier Crimson Bubble tier. And that's not a joke, by the way. No exaggeration here. It has the same drawback that made me loathe using the Crimson Bubble tier in the first place, which is that getting hit for more than 20% of your health at any given time just bypasses the effect like it never existed and kill you anyways. And that happens a of a lot since you're constantly in danger of getting zapped by an unlucky madness proc.
Well, yeah, like the damage you take is one thing instance, and the next instance is Madras proc. So the Opaline bubble tier pops on the first, and you die to the second. Like that's.
Even if I was on a tankier character, I don't think I would ever take this option unless I was absolutely 100% confident that I could ensure the effect plays to my benefit no matter what, which is almost never, unless I'm playing Raider and I'm literally in the middle of using my ability. The devil himself has given you a blank check, and you choose to spend it on an effect you could have bought from the merchant not even 2 minutes ago. Number 10, Eventual Greatness. If your teammates are willing to protect your malnourished ass for the next 2 minutes, this might actually turn out to be a good investment. I would stay away from this one if you aren't already playing as the character who tends to need protection. Actually, even if you are someone who needs to be protected, I still wouldn't get it. Characters with low survivability like Revenant or Recluse can mitigate some of the frustration that comes with the stat penalty, but that doesn't change the fact that whoever picks this just becomes a problem for a couple minutes. The only way I can see this choice actually giving the team some comeuppance would be if the player selecting this option also had a couple passives that made them less likely to be targeted. Because the only way this trade could ever be viable is if the boss just dead ass forgets you're a threat. The Recluse
Is he not gonna say what it does? Like, I mean, it halves it for a while and maybe gives you 50% more after. Is that it? Yeah. What does it do? It's. I mean, you saw his stats earlier. His stats like over here just exploded. Like the bars just went up. But it seems like you get minus 50% for 2 minutes, and after that you get plus 50. That's a lot. And against Libra, like if you can survive those two, which the only really threat for you in the Libra fight, if you aren't being directly targeted, is when it does like the crush thing, and there's gonna be a pillar of light below you. So if you just know that one thing, crucial thing about the boss fight, you're probably fine.
Can deal with the penalty a little bit better since her ability allows her to restore a small amount of FP, but that also.
Oh, but it doesn't know that the amount of FP you get back is based on your max FP. So you're actually giga-cooked if you do this. It's like if your max HP is 10. You get less FP back than if you had 100, right? Because it's proportional to your max FP. When you have the reduced FP, your ability gives you less back, like so it makes it even worse. But okay.
So begs the question of why you need the subsequent buff, because, well, you can just restore your FP. So like, what the Number 9 and 8, expand my intellect and have deep faith. I can't even believe there's enough information to make at least a half-educated conclusion on what could be considered the best and worst of these 5, but much to my surprise, you can, so I'm gonna. Expanding your magic dong as Duchess or Recluse might sound like a good idea because of their scalings, but running a sorcerer build straight into Libra's front door is actually not recommended because he'll just ignore 20% of that. I guess a magic build that's properly torqued with all the right relics and a good staff.
I don't think he knows how scaling works, chat. How much stats do you get? We're gonna have to see the numbers. Like, does it hit a soft cap or a hard cap, or do you actually benefit from having those stats? Like, that's the important part. Do you if you go from 51 int to like 60, or is it, I don't know, is it plus 10? Is it plus 20? Is it what does it do? Like, and does that affect scaling? Is it like capped or?
With a good spell, can still blast through it, but Recluses and Revenants here are a little more favored. Unfortunately, choosing one of the caster-related options can fuck over a good caster build in a way that's honestly a little funny. So if you're a caster build that relies on a large amount of FP to use spells, for example, choosing to have great intelligence might have some unforeseen consequences, because what it'll do is dump all of your other stats, including mind, to make as much room as possible for the intelligence increase. So you'll just go and select it and think you're ready for the fight, and then there goes like 60% of my FP.
Whoops.
Like, whoops. These options won't help with anything regarding madness buildup. They won't give you any cool weapons, and they won't make up for any bad luck you had earlier in the run. And they're still worth more of a double-fisted than anything I've mentioned previously. If you're playing Recluse and you're confident enough in your game to properly restore FP using your skill, then by all means...
He doesn't know how it works! I'm sure he doesn't know how the FP recovery works. He can't know it. He can't know it. Recluse's infinite FP? Yes, but the amount of FP she gets back when she collects essence is based on her max FP. The more FP you have on your max, the more FP you get back when you use it. So if you have low FP, you get jacked back. That's why on Recluse, you want to get as much FP as possible so that you can just like use it a couple of times and cast a million spells.
Bet everything on red and show your dick to the casino on the way out. But if you just like pay attention and read for 5 seconds, you'll probably always find something better suited for you. Number 7, be in touch with the Arcane. If anyone can think of a better placement for these, you're welcome to make your own goddamn video that I can react to later. And by react, I mean get up and go to the bathroom and leave the video playing. Literally and figuratively, on your opinion in the process. But I'm placing Arcane above the 2 caster-centric options because unlike Intelligence and Faith, Nightreign actually gives you a few main hand weapon options for Arcane-centric builds like the Morgoth's Curse Sword, Mogwin Spear, and the Marae and Regalia swords. This occurs way more frequently than I thought. Nightreign's weapon scalings are vastly different from its parent game. Scalings, with a few notable exceptions, seem to be separated by weapon
Is he going to mention what you lose in the process?
category rather than the weapon itself. Most daggers will have an S scaling in Dex and nothing else. All greatswords have a split between Strength and Dex, with a little bit of help somewhere in a third stat. But even the Dark Moon and Golden Order greatswords have a clear priority in Strength, with Dex and some other third stat as a secondary. I'm serious, this happens way more than you think. Like, obviously scalings have to be simplified to make the faster pace of the game more streamlined and more comfortable, but seriously, like, go to the sparring range and just scroll through all the weapon scalings. The amount of just completely changed from the base game is like, it's insane. Number 6 and 5.
No! He doesn't tell you what you lose out on! Do you know what you lose out on if you pick Arcane? Have you ever done it? You know what you lose? Here's what it is. Here's the big reveal. You lose vigor. You lose health. You pick Arcane, you lose health. You health bar go. I picked it one. Maybe that was because I played Guardian and I had a weapon that scaled with Arcane. But I lost like most of my vigor.
Dexterity gives you a wider pool of slash-based weaponry and attacks, such as claws, curved swords, katanas, and curved greatswords, to name a few. Most strength weapons tend to fall in either 2 categories, standard and strike. And while I tend to prefer strike damage, since it's more multi-purpose in a general setting, Libra has a particular disliking for being scratched in certain places, leaving him with a negative 10% damage negation against slash damage. Standard, strike, and pierce damage all clock in at a dull, uninspiring 0. Aside from this incredibly minor and mostly insignificant discrepancy, going for either of these will give you the exact same effect, and it's ultimately going to come down to what your character scales the best with, and or what weapon you have equipped. I would exercise a bit of caution here and make sure you aren't dependent on multiple stats before choosing any of these, but with the amount of main hand armaments that have a clear preference towards strength, dexterity, or both, these seem like the 2 best stat-related options pretty much no matter what. And the pretty much there excludes exactly 2 situations where you either got stuck with the Cypher Pada or you're sticking it out through the whole run with the Revenant's starting weapon. And ain't nobody doing that shit, so. Number 4, I desire.
God, this guy!
Rated R.
What the f? It's an S-scaling faith weapon! You can have frost on it! You can have bleed on it! This has to be rage bait. This has to be. There's no way. Oh my god. What the hell is. This is why. Okay, chat. This is why I don't watch Elden Ring YouTube videos, man. Because everyone gets everything wrong. Like, all the time. Informational, like, tier list videos. And they're like, here's a specific situation. Like, you can meet. The thing is, you can meet Libra as a boss. You can meet him in the field. Most of the time, you meet him in the field because you're not doing Libra as a boss every single time. So, like, those are also important to take into account, and they behave differently. Because I think a lot of the time when you make these deals, you lose a level a lot of the time. But if you choose something like proficiency and a stat, then you're gonna. It doesn't like give you more stat points, as far as I know. The way I experienced it in the game was that it redistributed your stats. Like we saw earlier, when you wanted to have like a proficiency in intelligence, it took your mind away and gave you more int. And he's like, whoa, that works with the clues because she gets more, she can get FP back, even though she has low FP bar. It's like, yeah, but you get less! My god.
A flask. It's getting an extra flask for a 10% max HP decrease. It's pretty straightforward. Raiders and Guardians will feel the hit a bit more than a Recluse, for instance, because the HP debuff is percentage based, but that shouldn't really matter because tank.
Oh, yo, it shouldn't! It shouldn't matter. I'm getting baited so hard. It shouldn't matter. 10% HP, losing 10% HP. It shouldn't matter. No, it should get one more. Dude, I'm actually. Dude, there's no way. There's no way.
Sort of built to have the fortitude to trade with whoever the hell they want and come out of it relatively unharmed. This is another one that demands a bit of prior knowledge about your own build. If you were just rocketing through buffs and options the whole way, picking anything that looked pretty like your 60-year-old mom thumbs through Christmas catalogs, then you probably won't know whether or not what you have will work with this option. But if you know for a fact you have a flask restoration buff or two just chilling out somewhere in your list of passives, taking this option might actually be a massive benefit, even with the 10% HP loss.
Did you know that your flask refills HP based on your max HP? That is a percentage base. Did you know that? Were you aware? So that when you lose max HP, you get less healing from flasks. Did you know that? Did you know? Are you aware? Oh man, what a video.
And don't worry about dedicating too much brain RAM to that decision, because Libra absolutely gives you enough time to just go into your special effects page and just look through it and see if you have it. Those tiny fire orbs encircling the scale sigil, yeah, those disappear like every 6 seconds or so in a clockwise direction, so you know exactly how much time you have before the actual fight begins. If you're still unsure, then, what the fuck? Even say at that point. You've probably already wasted enough time to trigger the boss anyways, so who cares? But I think the easiest way to think about it is like this. How much do you value churches when you're exploring Limveld? What level of priority do you put them under? If a teammate pings a rise structure and you think going for the extra flask right beside it is more important, well then you should probably choose the flask. Number 3.
Just you can just do both. You can just do both. You can just do both.
I'd only take an extra flask charge from Libra if I got invaded by Augur earlier in the run.
That's a good point. What? A good point. Crazy. Video that lobotomizes you. I want to gain many levels. What's that do?
Gain many levels. This option is a huge winner if the build you stumbled upon during the run is really good at covering your ass and keeping you alive, but a hyper-aware golem
What build is that?
sniped your nuts off when you were trying to escape the rain and you couldn't get your runes back. It's ultimately going to come down to whether or not your specific lineup of buffs facilitate this option. Basically the same with the flask. This is the ultimate memory check for how much you've been paying attention and how well you know your teammates. If your damage falls somewhere between old man sneezing and stepping in dog shit, but you know your flask heals a fuck ton of HP, or you're playing Raider and you have a whole ass ability that just lets you not take damage, an extra 3 levels can easily work more for you than it does against you. If all you could find was whites and blues,
what is the
and
negative?
Like 1 purple that makes tacos 13% tastier, but you noticed earlier someone you're queuing with has that relic effect that heals the team whenever they use a flask, then who gives a shit if your ass is level 12? Make it not 12 and let your unwillingly generous teammate pick up the slack. It can really be worth it, and it can even save your run, but you have to be really aware of what your teammates' builds are and what they can do, as well as just general faith in your teammates. And if you're solo queuing and not in a Discord VC with somebody, then you don't even need to...
Can we look up the, Here we go. Gain +2 levels, but you lose 1 level every time you use a flask? How is that good? How is that good? How is that good in any way? Oh my god. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, you lose some max health or something? Or something like that. That's insane. Did you know that every character in the game, let's look at someone with really high stats in something like Iron Eye. Do you know what the difference between level 12 and level 15 is? It's 6 points of dexterity. 6 points. Have you heard about diminishing returns? Do you know that if you go from here to here, it makes difference, and you're gonna lose levels going into where you don't get diminishing returns earlier when you use flask? Holy, what a bait video. This guy doesn't play the game. Rusty is a mega don't watch this video. But I have only ever seen this video from Rusty, but wow. Oh, and here's the correction. So selecting Deep Faith or Expand Intellect actually doesn't tank your FP like I thought it did. Only picking Strength and Dexterity options have this effect, which makes a lot more sense. If you have a great Strength weapon, but you depend on having an FP for the attached weapon art like Blasphemous Blade or something, selecting Strength and Dex option might not be what you want. Oh my god. Yeah, so when he was testing for this, he didn't even check that.
Tell me your situation. I understand completely. Number 2, I desire a powerful weapon.
And what does that do? Receive a random weapon from a special list, but lose 2 levels. 2 levels. Possible weapons include Vike's War Spear, Black Knife, Earthly Bow. Vike's War Spear would be good. Black Knife, Earthly Bow, Frenzied Flame Seal. Okay, so there's 2 Frenzy weapons in here. That's pretty good. Fingerprint Stone Shield, also Frenzy. Mikilla Knight's Sword, Ordovis Great Sword, and Halo Scythe. I don't think I would do it. 2 levels for a maybe a good weapon. I don't think I would do it, like, at all. Yeah, like, if you don't have that good weapon for the boss, like, I don't know what to tell you, man. If you didn't do churches to get seals to do Frenzy stuff, like, you don't need Frenzy against the boss either. You know what a good way to do Frenzy on the boss is? If you have one other source of it? Let's see. It would be the option ranked at 2. At the one of the worst in the whole list is the one that is best at consistently applying madness to the boss. Because that's Frenzy Flames at him automatically. Yeah, but you can gamble. This is a gamble. You lose 2 levels, and you might get something that actually madnesses the boss, and does his weakness, which is, fire damage plus madness. Okay.
What makes this one so interesting is the weapon pool from which he draws. The pool comprises 8 weapons, 3 of which are madness weapons, which, if given, could single-handedly reverse the momentum of a bad run. These weapons are Vike's War Spear, the Frenzied Flame Seal, and the Fingerprint Stone Shield. The remaining 5, however, are holy weapons: the Black Knife, Ordovis Greatsword, Halo Scythe,
and holy, he's like every boss of the game. I think Libra minus 35, yeah, so he's actually pretty. He gives you his weaknesses. So the weapon choice is actually not that bad, but you do lose 2 levels. So if you're like level 15, I think it's reasonable. Yeah, if you're level 15, go for it. Anyways, this is a solid choice. This one is magic though, right?
Erdtree Bow, and the Mikilla Knight's Sword. The reason these weapons are key against Libra is because he takes 35% more damage from all...
It does holy, what the fuck? It looks like a mage weapon. Okay, it does holy. Good. So you're guaranteed to get like a decent weapon against him. That's right, that's good.
Holy sources. There really isn't a fail condition with this one, aside from just losing 2 levels, and going from 15 to 13 isn't like a huge deal. I mean, it'll suck, but we're talking about trading this for what basically ends up being either 35% more damage or the capacity to...
13 to 15 isn't that big of a deal, chat. Listen, 13 to 15 doesn't really matter. However, gaining 2 levels from 13 to 15 is great, even though you lose 1 level per flask. It's, chat, trust me guys, it's so good.
Exploit the boss's main weakness. There really is no losing side of the coin here. You will get a weapon he has a hard time fighting against no matter what. I think the only way this option could fuck you would be if you got the Erdtree Bow or the Black Knife as like the Raider or something, because those 2 weapons have scalings clearly weighted towards dex, but most of the others have just decent scalings across the board. Surprisingly, the faith scalings on all these armaments they're not like ass-wipingly bad or anything. They're pretty bad. They suck balls. So if you're Revenant, don't go choosing this option thinking you'll carry the whole fight, because the 2 highest faith scaling weapons are the Mikilla Knight's Sword and Ordovis Greatsword, both only capable of 30 faith scaling, which is, like, I'm sorry, man, like, that's pathetic. Number 1, resistance to ailments. Apparently, this is a massive plus.
What is this? Resistance to all elements. 150. But lose 10% max stamina. That's good, yeah. 150 resistance to madness, and you get lose 10 max stamina. That's fine. That's okay. You can live with that. I agree that's a high ranking one. That's actually good
for some people, and I always enjoy explaining it to someone who's never really thought that much about it, because they always hit me with the same "wait a minute, shit" kind of response after hearing the reason. So Libra's main weakness is not only the 1 status you gradually build on yourself when using certain spells, but it just so happens to be the very same status effect he uses against the team. So the fact that a buff like this is even in Libra's circulation to begin with is a display of remarkable confidence that earns both my respect and concern. Like, he's literally telling you to f around and find out, but the negative effect matters so little that it feels more like with a low to moderate risk. If I'm a caster build using frenzy spells, one of the last things I would ever be concerned about is whether or not I'm running out of breath in between salvos. And even then, a 10% stamina decrease is easily counterbalanced by a Viridian Talisman or a max stamina buff you get from clearing an encampment. Or in the best case scenario, you snatched up a stamina regen buff during one of the night bosses, making this negative effect no more intimidating than the treadmill you'll need to start using for that stamina to pick back up. However, there is a double secret hidden bonus third reason why this choice is almost always one you should shoot for, which has to do with the amount of resistance you're given before the fight, which is 150. Think about how much extra fuel that is for the frenzy tank. That's like 2.5 charged flame of frenzies you just gave yourself. Or like
usually when you pick resistance to ailments as a passive bonus, you get like, what, 50? 58 to all ailments or something? But like this is, 150. That's a lot. It's considerable. I 100% agree this is a good one. And the price is also even not that steep. So the last two here are reasonable. They are reasonable. But the other ones are like, there's no way. The Power of a Demon is really good, man. Like, it's very good. Make your own list. Well, I don't really have all the well, I do have these, right? But I don't have the ones in the... I know some from the field, because you also obviously want to include the ones you can pick up when you meet him out in the open, because those are probably the most important ones.
Like eight frenzied bursts, or like one extra frenzy flame threat. Fuck, whatever. I didn't do the math beforehand. I just know 150 is a hell of a lot, and you should absolutely invest in it every single time you see it. I think this will sometimes tie with the second place entry, and in rare instances, if you're a gambling man, the extra weapon he gives you might just be the exact one you need. But that only has a 12.5% chance of happening, versus the 100% chance of assured spank ass you'll be delivering to Libra's front porch before he can even answer the door.
Yep. Good ending, but like, man, these are horrible. I love when poorly researched YouTube videos get everything wrong. If dealing with Libra as a day 3 boss fight, the pick is a cheat sheet, but it's best to avoid deals. Attacking him immediately prevents noobs from making him stronger taking deals, which I highly recommend. If dealing with Libra as a merchant, the pick is inaccurate. For instance, Eventual Greatness lasts until you beat the night boss on day 1 and 2, providing stats boosts after. It's a good deal for any class on day 1, but if you need to kill, if you need a skill to back it up, as it removes 2 levels until completed. The reward is worth it. Oh wow, that's really good. Eventual Greatness in field is insane. You just lose 2 levels. You don't even lose your stats, you lose your levels. If Libra appears on your map as a debuff, with an HP debuff, paying 15k runes lets you take any deal for free. Wait, what? For additional and better deals like more runes, the rune average is usually the best choice runes, offering a significant rune boost from enemies and taking constant damage over time. You can drop it during night bosses and pick it up before killing them, unless teammates take it. If you get the event but lack runes and can't reach them in time, remove HP debuff by dying on the bridge of day 3 before the boss. Then pick up your runes and use the grace to avoid losing a level. And start with a 2 bar down for the fight. Eventual Greatness in the field is really good. Oh yeah, if he raises you and you pay him off, you can get it without any consequences. For a few runes, and on day 1, you can get a free insane buff. Yeah, look at that. So Libra raid is like actually a really good thing if you just pick if you know what you get. It's really good.
Was even nerfed.
That's
it
50.
used to be 35k runes to undo the health debuff.
What? 35? That's insane if you get it day 1. That's so expensive.